I met a gypsy.
And everybody that I have fun, like, because everyone, I feel like a lot of people see me on race day and everyone thinks I'm serious and boring, or maybe not boring, but I don't, I guess, come off as just somebody that's...
Well, you're not selling donuts and shit.
Yeah. I'm not selling donuts like Jet or something like that. But no, I am really fun, but I also take, like I said, I take my career very seriously. And for me, like I have in these off season, the last 2 years, I've done more of, I wouldn't say partying, but I do, like, I would drink and stuff like that. And that's something I
say partying.
Yeah, partying. I partied a little. I did party. Okay, I will say that. But I didn't, as a 19-year-old, I mean, I told myself I wouldn't drink till I'm 40. And I'm like, I think part of me maturing a little bit realized that it's not going to affect me in the season after I do that. Yeah. Not at all. So I started doing that. I started getting out and doing a little bit more of that. But like I said, like I would never trade my life in for something like that. Like I always say, oh, it'd be fun to go to college for 3 weeks or 2 weeks, but 100%. That's it. Like I would never trade anything I have in for that. So, and I mean, it's always fun. Everyone asks like, oh, well, what was it like growing up and racing dirt bikes? Well, I didn't do the normal going to prom, all that stuff. I really am glad I missed out on it because I don't wish to have done that. So for me, people are always like, oh, well, you missed out on stuff you could have done. Well, later in life, I'll be able to hopefully enjoy myself a little bit more and kind of, for me now, I have more freedom than a lot of those people have going to college, going to a 9-to-5 job. I can pretty much I'm basically my own boss. I can do whatever I want within reason. So for that, I'm grateful. And people always think like, well, some people think like Supercross is some glamour show. Like it's super easy. Like we ride dirt bikes for like, it's so fun all the time. And it's not, it's hard sometimes, but there's also the people that think it's such a grind and like, oh, it could be better. You could have something else, but I wouldn't trade it. There's highs and there's lows. And for me, the grind is what I feel like as a person makes me better. One, and it helps me on race day too. So like I said, I wouldn't trade it. And I think I'm grateful for missing out on all that stuff because now I am able to have a little bit more freedom and hopefully later on down the road, I'll be financially free and be able to, whenever I decide I want to retire, be able to do what I want. And I'm sure that'll be something active, but I guess I look at it that way. I do have fun, but I find fun in going golfing, going surfing, doing something active, being with my friends. I love going back to Illinois at the end of the year because I get to step away from, especially as a 450 guy, you have, like I said before, there's so many outside influences and it gets draining throughout the whole year. So for me, going back home and not having any responsibility is one of my favorite things. And so I find fun in like going out in the cornfield with some of my buddies and go ride along when they're farming and just chilling and hanging out. So I guess you can define fun in different ways for different people.
Yeah, and I think it's funny. So I got a friend who does really well, and you know, you get people that say to him, and like people say it to me as well, like because I work super hard, and you know, like I was talking to a guy that we're sort of going to start doing some work with, and I was explaining to him like the process and like the technical side of the podcast and how we make it look good and sound good and do the international stuff, and he was just like, holy shit, like this is gnarly. It's like, who did you have to figure this out? I'm like, yep, this is what 5 years looks like, man. Like we just have it dialed because it's this constant process of just go figure it out, like new problem, new solution, new problem, new solution, new problem. And that's fun. Like there's something really fun in solving problems. Like it's not fun to lock yourself in the office, but when you take all the distractions and shit out of the way, it's like it's rewarding to solve that problem. And anyway, I got a mate, he does really well, and he works constantly as well. And then, you know, we go to dinner and we both sit on our phones and we're both working at dinner. We're having fun. Like I'm stoked that I'm with him, and we'll pop our head up and eat our food, and then we'll talk to each other and we'll talk about our work or whatever. But, you know, he always gets this thing where people like, man, you work too much. You really need to have some more fun. And then his thing is like, you sound fucking broke.
Yeah, you want
like
you know what's
it's like a
you want to know what's funny is those people
Sorry,
that say
go.
that are usually the ones that are not that they're not successful, but they don't have their stuff together, and that's they try and make you feel bad about being driven and disciplined. And successful people are always disciplined, no matter unless you got given your money, you earn that somehow, some way, and it's not easy. Being rich is not easy. Some of the richest people I know, obviously the hardest working people I know. So it's in anything. It could be motocross, podcast, business, stock market, whatever you do. If you are hardworking enough and you put your mind to it, it will pay off. And people, I think there's a lot of people that hate on that, and it's annoying because I get the same thing within the industry. Like, well, oh, why do you work so hard? Why do you do this? Well, I don't. I always tell people, like, I want to win races. I don't want to be second. I don't want to be third. Like, you want to be the best at what you do. I want to make a mark in what I do. I don't want to be some guy that comes to the 450 class, is consistent top 5, top 3. I want to win races and I want to make a mark on the sport. And I think that's the same way with you with podcast. You stand out compared to a lot of them, especially the ones that I see, and just people in general. Like a lot, I try at least now I'm trying to surround myself with uncommon people, and that I think is a big thing for me. Being around people that are common and just want to do the bare minimum to scrape by is not what I want to do, and uncommon is hard to come by. So
if you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe. And to listen to the full 3-hour podcast, search Gypsy Tales in your favorite podcast platform or click the link in the description below. Gypsy Gang.